do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and winning and always faster and faster and faster.
Well, welcome back everybody to With Antone MotoGP, and thanks to everyone who's been watching and really been enjoying it. And we're getting towards the end of the season break. So let's start off by looking at some news and rumours out there in the MotoGP paddock. Well, Hervé Poncharal still saying no, nothing signed, but Gunther Steiner is on his way. Ride to survive, I think that's what they're doing. If you're a Hollywood producer and you have a hit show, what do you do if you want to do a spin-off? You bring in one of your major stars in. This fits in nicely. So I think that there's something to this, and I think we're going to see something official in relation to what's happening with Tech 3 and Gunther Steiner and Liberty Media making their changes. What else has been happening? Well, Balaton Park in Hungary, we're heading there this year. We saw the World Superbikes run around there recently, and we've just had Marc Marquez and Mr. Go Free out on the Ducati road sports bikes. There's a little bit of a concern about the circuit. Petrucci, World Superbike ex-MotoGP star, he rides in the World Superbike now. He has some concerns about the safety and the speed. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Safety Commission actually do and whether or not the FIM will take any action over this. Another thing about Balaton Park, it's got 10 lefts and 7 rights. So what did Marc Marquez said? He described it as unusual. And another little thing about Liberty while we're speaking, it's obviously we're in the mid-season break. So what are we seeing? We're seeing holiday lifestyle. We're seeing the riders, we're seeing them out with their partners, their girlfriends, their wives. So Liberty Media can really build on this lifestyle. I think we're going to see this grow. I think we're going to see the profile of the riders change, and we're going to see some changes coming in that way. So let's take a look at some of the things that we've learned in the 2025 MotoGP series. The first thing I want to bring up, and I don't understand this with riders, we all know they do their practice starts. One of the frustrations that I'm seeing and I'm having is why don't the riders try to start where they believe that they will qualify? We see many times when they're on the actual starting area, they're not even in the start slot. They'll start in the middle or off this or off the spot. Why not try to start where you think you're going to qualify? Or if you've got 3 or 4 practice starts, try out a couple of the different grid positions, not just some random space. The other thing I think that they should be looking at is this, tear off, the visor tear offs. I think these need to be banned. Removal needs to be banned when you're in the starting grid area. We've seen a number of occasions, Marc Marquez famously slipped on his own tear off, and we've had others talking about the same problem with their tear offs. So I think we need to look at a rule about how tear offs are removed and where. Famously, we saw Jack Miller's bike actually got a tear off, got sucked in and covered over his radiator, and he had to retire. The other one that this year that's been a big one has been team management. Now, team management's been dominated by Aprilia and our friend Rivola, and especially how they've gone about managing the team and how they've gone about managing the team, not just internally, but externally to the media. We're seeing it right now with Tech 3 and Hervé Poncharal trying to manage the team, saying everything's all right, nothing's changing. Ducati, we've seen a lot of panic in the box. We've seen a lot of confusion in and around rain starts. The other one I want to talk about is I think as a community, we need to support the riders more. Now, I've been an advocate here on With Antone MotoGP 2025. I support the riders, and I have been a supporter of Jorge Martin and his ability to make his decision. But we need to look at how we support the riders. These guys go out there and they all risk their lives. Whether we have a favourite or whether we not, we should be really looking at supporting the riders and putting these fine athletes up on the pedestal and the respect that they need. Anyone on that grid is a champion, and anyone on that grid is absolutely able to ride a bike so fast that it's absolutely scary. The other thing this year that we've seen at the mid-season point is development. Now we've seen a couple of teams really fail at development, And I'm putting this down to a couple of the lead riders. KTM, I don't know what Brad Binder's doing. The time has passed for him. You can see his super motard sideways style. That's not working. Vinales has come on and shown the pathway. Smooth, smooth, and more smooth. That's what's getting the KTM to do it. And I also want to call out Quartararo. The 12 million euro man. He is always so negative about what he's doing, but I want to ask, what is he doing for development and how is he leading? On the other side of the coin, we've got what I see as success development stories. I've seen Jack Miller come in and make a big difference with the electronics, and I've seen Zarco, again in the media, winning in Suzuka, but he's doing a great job with HRC. The final one is ownership. We started this episode talking about it, and we can see that there's going to be some changes. Now, we haven't seen any Liberty members of the Liberty group at a Grand Prix, but I believe it's going to start to happen, and I believe we're going to start to see some changes. So we're through the season break. Next week, we're going to start looking at the next round of the MotoGP, which is going to be exciting. But what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about Hervé Poncharal, Ride to Survive? What about the Safety Commission issue with Balloton Park? And do you really think Liberty are going to play up this lifestyle of the fastest on two wheels MotoGP riders? Anyway, thanks for listening today. If you've enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, or if you've got a comment, please drop it down below. Okay, I'll see you soon.